Merhaba arkadaşlar, Vampyr'e kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. Bakalım bizi neler bekliyor.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you, a kindred spirit?
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Very disgust on every street. Oh, the daily routine.
Simpletons, these nurses. Bred with no respect. What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Stajyer mi?
Dr. Swansea is quite busy, and I need you to
How brave. Threatening an old...
Harriet Jones. Indeed.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable...
Blackmail? Wait.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh,
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, sir.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and home.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical
Have you made friends since...
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be...
Nasıl
How do you
hissediyorsun?
feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best.
Thank you, sir. I believe all...
Dinlen bakalım.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Şimdi şöyle hemşirelere bakalım.
The pain. It's here again.
Brilliant minds in London and Pembroke.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail in this hospital?
No,
I have to...
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Nerede lan bunlar?
If only there were more of us, with less resignation and more determination.
I know I can count. Wish I could say the same for the others.
You look...
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed,
Goodbye.
It's safer here than anywhere else.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Goodbye, Nurse. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Sen ne ayaksın lan?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
What can you tell me about the strange man?
Let me guess.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Daily routine.
I have wasted too much energy for something.
There's good reason to get back.
Çekiyorsun. Bak orada bak bir şey var orada bak.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Hemşire. Ulan hemşire.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor. Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I have this thirst for blood. What sort of creature is this? creature is this?
Yok aga yok.
What sort of creature is this? What sort of creature is this?
Hadi tekrar.
What sort of creature is this? Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Look at it!
Adam öldürdü bizi lan.
This is no place for you, sir. Don't come closer! Stupid beast! I'll kill it! Shit, you're mine! You'll pay for that!
Lan dur şerefsiz dur. İçinden geçtim lan.
Filthy fucking beast!
Yeter lan. Niye hemen adamları saldırıyorsunuz ya?
It's one of them! We have to stop it!
Lan.
It's too fucking fast!
It's locked.
He's clear! I'll take it! Look lively! It's on to us! Fuck, he's fast! Oh, mine!
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
İçimizden geçti herif.
This is no place for you, sir. Step away!
Burn it, boys! This one's mine!
15 litres every night. Aye. God, we put more and more every year. Die! Die, Bernie! Back in the grave! Shit, that leech is off! Die, Bernie!
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
You're being manipulated by these criminals. What's worse is that you're clever enough to know better.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I've a future here.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. If she's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in East London. So you picked an easy target, didn't you?
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town.
I said sod off.
Goodbye, young man.
I won't end up another drunk.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Do you need assistance?
Please.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems, as long as you have the money. When science fails you, this
İki büklemeden
No.
ayrılmıştı.
Not now. Not me, please. I'll be good.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
What can you tell me about this?
Nothing to say, really. This is what...
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job.
You don't have anywhere to go?
Not since the death of my wife.
Perhaps you could focus.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stopped.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that...
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war.
The doctors called me a liar. A coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, that's...
It's a pity that doctors still practice such...
Now only the pills stop me thinking about this shit.
Did you know of your son's plans to join the Wet Boot Boys gang?
Barely survived the war, just to come back and see my wife die of the flu, and my son turn into a petty thug.
When science failed you,
Albert is old enough to make his own mistakes.
Yeah, my Albert's as tough and stubborn as his...
Your suspicions concerning Albert were...
No, I wasn't. I just went mad.
You had better speak to Albert.
I'm afraid it's too late.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too.
Really?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover.
You don't seem well, Benjamin.
I always feel ill.
I will see you later.
When science failed you, this elixir will give you faith again. Its effectiveness has been proven by medicine. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough.
I'm not afraid anymore. I died in this trench a long time ago.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now, goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to. I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
There's nobody here.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Açlan kapıyı.
I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time.
Selam beyler.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic?
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops.
Where did this happen?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I ain't...
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I...
Have you heard of a nurse?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty...
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England...
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet...
How is business?
Business? I have no business.
I see.
It's no secret.
Right then. Excuse me, sir.
Another journalist? I deny.
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say?
Really? But still, here I am.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes...
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I found.
A job?
Adam kardeş diyor ya.
So you're
I got enlisted by the web.
Most people don't become thugs.
I don't care what you think, sir.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your...
Oh, do you really...
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why...
Not familiar with
this part of...
Totally.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live...
Dorothy Crane? Yeah,
Could you please tell me...
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would have...
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Never have taken up my father's business.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whittaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming...
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed.
A scientist? You are much more...
Ben kaybetmişim ben.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world...
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on fact. What do you mean when you say that I...
All scientists.
Quite a...
But you,
Well, I suppose I can
as a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupt.
Really? And what would...
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and pure.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see...
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more...
What do you mean when you say that I am...
All
quite a...
you...
Well, what do you...
The beat.
I have heard enough...
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan...
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of...
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Why are the newspapers... These are... Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the...
I'm convinced there is more at work.
Really?
What is a journalist doing in this borough?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during...
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know.
That's quite... honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's what...
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Duck. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest, although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town. My words speak about that.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard...
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction...
Not interested in your...
Darius is an old political activist.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane.
And Dorothy Crane.
May I ask what you're doing at this...
Not at all. I'm just enjoying...
But are you not afraid?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in...
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to...
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know...
What are your thoughts?
Terrible, you say? No.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London...
My mother loved poetry. Perhaps your words would have touched her sensitive nature.
Most people fail to understand my perspective.
Are you aware that...
But this is where I must...
I understand your need.
I don't care. I don't have many friends.
If some misfortune came...
Well, you, for a start, my dear doctor.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott.
The place is not beautiful per se, but... how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full...
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's...
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives?
Maybe I prefer she remains an...
In what way exactly?
The struggle by gaslight...
If you say such vivid...
Oh yes, the poignant...
I'll leave you... Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being rude, does it? Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well. Hello again, miss. Very well. Goodbye, then. The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Would you like me to revive you? And I'm clean. Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need...
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not...
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've...
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy house.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me?
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel.
Goodbye, miss.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Fancy...
You never... Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he?
I've known Joe for years.
What can you tell me about Mr.
Colossus Joe was a decent...
It's never easy to find a new path in life, especially after the loss of a loved one.
But we've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to...
And no one has ever...
Nobody would be fool enough to...
Goodbye for... You... Goodbye, Mr. Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again. Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't...
Bakalım.
If you want to talk to Dorothy...
We've not been formally introduced.
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm...
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in...
She seems important to the...
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something up.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever, too.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name.
You say she has no close family?
Well, there's that awful poet who can't...
Tell me...
I do not...
Do you have any family left, Mr.
Who knows?
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your...
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of...
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you?
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see...
Goodbye.
Hadi şimdi hemşireye. Orada bir şey var.
I need help!
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Right then, Nurse Crane. What do you suggest we do?
I've no idea. I'm not the doctor.
Time is of the essence. We need to perform a thoracic drain.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. Yes. I have this, nurse. Allow me to finish the procedure alone. I need the room.
I'd prefer to stay and see this through. This is my patient, Doctor. I have needle and thread for stitching the wound.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor!
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor. We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could? Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
Here to test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
Ne oluyor lan?
It's locked. It's locked, all right. I cannot enter.
Cross the beach, boys! Watch out for them teeth! Fucking fast! That's it! Vicious fucker!
By many. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
sıkıntıya düşmüşüz herkesi öldürdüğümüz için. Bir sonraki bölümde görüşürüz arkadaşlar. Bay bay.